Hey everybody, it's Galmanex, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Without further ado, let's get into our pack one, pick one here. A pretty sweet opening pack. Slogurk is the funnest way to go, but it is a dual colored card right off the bat and puts us into one of the weakest colors of the set, being green. But pretty fun for the green-blue self-mill strategy. You can get pretty big pretty quickly and then bring up a bunch of lands from your grave when it dies. So I'm probably still going to go with the Slogurk here, see if we can't do some green-blue self-mill for fun, because there aren't any of the mythic commons or uncommons in the pack, but there's some pretty good ones. There's Revenge of the Drowned for some interaction in blue, Search Party Captain for very good value play in white, Dual Craft Trainer as well. Can get a lot of damage in. If you have three different powers on board, you get something double strike every single turn, which is pretty gnarly. There's a Root Coil Creeper here as well, which if we're lucky and things go well, if green and blue are open, we get to take a bunch of those cards and then wheel the Root Coil Creeper. So we'll see. That would be obviously the dream, and the dream is not to be lived. A single pick has gone by, and this is already a pack where the green and blue cards are awful. Geistwave and Locked in the Cemetery are okay, but I'm certainly not going to pick to them, even if I start with a blue rare. These are very mediocre cards, and then the plummet is basically unplayable, so we already have to push off color for Search Party Captain out of white for the most flexible card, or we could take another Signpost card, another dual colored card as the strongest card in the pack, but also the most narrow, similar to the Slogurk there. And I think I'm going to do that. I'll take a Flesh Taker here, and we've got two different paths we could take, depending on what we start getting past as the picks progress. Pick 3, Outland Liberator's a fine green card, but I think Gavany Silversmith is pretty comparable, if not better. 4 mana for a 2/3, get 2+1/+1 counters on the board. The Liberator's better at night, I guess. It's a 2 mana 3/3, but other than that, just a decent main deckable naturalize ability, main deckable way to blow up an artifact or enchantment, much like the Cathar Commando in white, the 2 mana 3/1 with flash, where it's like reasonable filler. But Silversmith I found actually be really good towards the top of your curve. So I'm going to take the Silversmith here, going in the Flesh Taker direction for now. I think that's just the strongest card in that pack. Pick 4. These are some pretty awkward packs all around. No blue, very mediocre green. The green removal in this set's just quite bad. It is a fight spell and not a bite spell, so your creature has to be bigger for it to survive, plus it can get countered by removal spells and all of the normal downsides to fight spells. This pack as a whole is pretty mediocre, though. And there's some okay red cards, I guess. I guess we're just supposed to take Vengeful Strangler towards Flesh Taker. Those cards do synergize well together, being able to sacrifice the Strangler to get its death trigger whenever you want it, get that Strangling Grasp going. Yeah, we'll take Vengeful Strangler here. Another pack of no green blue, but reasonable stuff for black white, particularly Lunarch Veteran's a good card to sacrifice. You can bring it back later. Pick number 6. Well, here's the green blue. Shadow Beast Sighting for a flashback spell that's a great card to mill. These green and blue cards are mediocre though. Just the Shadow Beast Sighting that's exciting. Neonate's Rush in red, and we've been seeing an okay amount of red. We haven't seen anything like great in red, but the quantity of red spells has been higher than everything else. So if we take Neonate's Rush, that would be towards maybe Boros at this point with what we've been taking. I don't even think Neonate's Rush is great in Boros. It's really a Rakdos Vampires card where it's going to be efficient. I'm still just going to take the Shadow Beast Sighting here, I think, on that Slogurk plan. Pick 7. Dawnheart Rejuvenator's fine in green decks. I don't like Blood Pact, Observer, or Hedgewitch Mask in any deck. Homestead Courage is reasonable filler in green-white because you care about hitting Coven, but I'm not excited about it at all in black-white. Yeah, I don't think I would play any of these cards by the end of the draft if I end up in black-white still. So it's a mediocre filler card for the Slogurk deck, or actually speculate on red this time, and I guess I'll just speculate on red with the Neonate's Rush. Well, pick 8 Croaking Counterpart, which I'd absolutely play in green-blue. Good card if you mill it and get that flashback ability later. Interesting. Might pan out poorly for us that we took the Rush over the Dawnheart Rejuvenator. Most of these packs have been mediocre enough, though, that that's the only pick that I think I would be even moderately disappointed about if we do end up green-blue by the end of this draft. And we probably won't be. Somebody took the green-blue signpost uncommon out of our opening pack, which means that they are in the green-blue archetype, and that's a weak enough archetype. You don't want to be competing with anybody for it. Whereas there's a pick 9 search party captain again towards white, so white has remained the color we've seen the strongest stuff going around, followed by red as the second best. So we take the search party captain. Moonrager slash pick 10. Maybe we're supposed to be Boros here, even though I don't love the archetype. Yeah, I'll take the slash. Pick 11. Silverbolt over Dread Knight. Pick 12, I guess now we'll take a Dread Knight over Hedge Witcher's Mask. Now Pax Betrayal. And then Ardent Elementalist, last pick. So red is clearly the most open color, but white is also very open, so by virtue of what's open, we're supposed to play Boros, but by virtue of what decks are actually strong archetypes and actually function well in the set, I'm pretty nervous, because Boros does not come together particularly well in this format. So pack 2, pick 1. We've got the Flame Channeler. If we cast a Neonate's Rush or a Moonrager Slash, this will flip into the 3/3, so a 2-mana 3/3. That can then maybe draw some cards as well. It's a great green-white card. Green-white humans deck card. We've only got one mono-green card so far now, though, and it's Shadow Beast sighting. There's an excellent blue spell with Organ Hoarder, but blue was pretty hard cut. Well, let's hop onto that red, grab the Flame Channeler here. Kind of been forced into pretty mediocre archetype, because that's what's going to be open. There's a Sun Gold Sentinel getting passed to us, so some of the rewards of being in the open color pair. But we're going to have to get real lucky. We need a lot of good red and white cards to get opened for this deck to end up playing well. We know they're going to get passed to us, but the question is how many of these good cards are going to get opened in the first place. Another Lunarch Veteran over the Silversmith. Get the curve a little lower. Make sure we can curve out aggressively here. There were some pretty good black spells there, but we didn't see good black near the second half of the first pack, so not trying to hop over to that color. Sacred Fire is a pretty great one. Chaplain of Alms is also great, though, as is the Gavany Trapper. This is a pretty close one. I kind of want to take the Chaplain of Alms, assuming that we're the literal only player in Boros. I highly doubt anybody else is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The thing is, this set has enough mediocre cards, though. Somebody's just going to hate draft Sacred Fire, probably. But maybe not. We'll take the Chaplain there. But yeah, if you look at the rest of that pack, there was enough stuff that's like, even if you're like green-black, when you get late in there was like a Return to Nature or like a Shady Traveler where they could just hate draft Sacred Fire at that point. All right, we'll take another Search Party Captain. We're not going to have enough Vampires for Voldaren Ambusher. Although Immolation is fine too. But I'm going to grab the Search Party Captain. We've got a good amount of 1-mana creatures, so Captain should be drawing us a lot of cards. There's another Sacred Fire. This time it definitely won't wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Unless it's like the literal last card in the pack. That's not going to happen. We'll take Sacred Fire. Pick 7. Flare of Faith is a fine trick, or Soul Guide Gryph's an okay top-end finisher. Grab the finisher here. Festival Crasher can be a fun build around. Not particularly awesome in red-white, but don't love Homestead Courage. Another Festival Crasher. Well, if we get multiple copies, we could start taking some of these late Abandon the Posts and go for some cheesy victories off of cheap instant sorceries. We got a really mediocre filler creature or a mediocre draw spell with flashback. Because we have double Festival Crasher now, I'll take the mediocre flashbacker. Sun Gold Barrage, get a late game blocker out of the way. We did wheel the Sacred Fire. You'll love to see it. Get the double Sacred Fire. Again, perks of being in the most open color pair, even if it's a weaker one. Get to wheel a great card for our deck very late. I think we're going to be aggressive enough. We don't care too much about the Ardent Elementalist. Well, this pack was a good open for us. We get an excellent Mythic, just a hasty threat here that later in the game recasts something from our grave when we play it. And we get to wheel a Sunrise Cavalier at worst, guaranteed, because no one's in Boros. And there's other options to wheel as well. Moonrager Slash, Blessed Defiance, Silversmith, a bunch of solid cards to wheel, but this is probably going to be Adversary and Cavalier as the two picks out of this pack. Pack 3, pick 2. Clarion Cathars is fine. I've got a lot of stuff happening at 4 mana, but the Search Party Captains are more of like a 3-drop or cheaper. Immolation's pretty good. It's also pretty gnarly with Festival Crashers. Oh wait, no it's not. These care about specifically instants or sorceries. I'm glad I double-checked that. Most of these cards nowadays are whenever you cast a non-creature spell. But Festival Crashers are purely instant sorceries, so that makes Immolation a little less exciting. Sunset Revelry can be good value. Depends on how the game's going. And this should basically always draw us a card against blue-black, which is interesting. You know what? Oh, alright, well... Sunset Revelry it is. I last second decided I was probably going to do Clarion Cathars there, get another 4-drop, but Sunset Revelry should be fine too. Ambitious Farmhand's a great card. Get another land to work your way up the curve, and once you have 3 mana and 3 different power of creatures, you get yourself a 3/3 lifelinker. Another Lunarch Veteran. I'm on double Crasher, so we could play a cute Thermo Alchemist deck. We've got some flashbacking instant sorceries already. What if we go Thermo Alchemist, Ardent Elementalist nonsense? We could wheel the other one too, because we seem to be one of the only red drafters. Another Ardent Elementalist, a Neonate's Rush, a Flame Channeler. It's hard to find more room to put more 2-mana cards in this deck, like another Flame Channeler. We have so many. I kind of want to take Neonate's Rush with all these Festival Crashers and now a Thermo Alchemist as well. You could just be really low curve, all instant sorceries. Cheese Fest. Pick 6. Famished Foragers is nice in aggressive decks. You get your damage and you drop this and you play another creature the same turn. Or like another spell the same turn. Gavany Trapper is really good with Coven though. And we could do more 1-drops. Those are the interesting choices. I'm actually going to go Gavany Trapper here. We got that Sun Gold Sentinel and the Ambitious Farmhand for great Coven cards. We wheel a Sunrise Cavalier. I guess not yet. This is pick 7. So we'll get this one, and then we'll also get one pick 9. Now we can take the Famished Foragers. What? Alright, well, I mean, I guess I'll take a Blessed Defiance. Somebody's in Boros? That don't make any sense. We'll take another Thermo Alchemist here over Blessed Defiance, but Blessed Defiance would be great too. Kind of going pretty heavy down the instants and sorceries route now, so I'm not going to have room for enchantments. I could play a Pax Betrayal. Another one of those. Because I already have 2 Elementalists, I doubt I'm running 3. Another Foragers or an Elementalist. Alchemist Crasher dot deck. You know what? This is going to be a weird Boros deck. Double Festival Crasher, double Thermo Alchemist Boros. Probably go down to like 14 creatures so that I can play a bunch of instants and sorceries. What is this deck? This is going to be a goofy one. Sacred Fire.exe, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures if I cut all that. Which then lets me run 9 instants and sorceries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 Pax Betrayal. Could run no Betrayals and then run the Revelation. 8, 9. Could also see running a couple Elementalists over these Veterans, maybe. I don't see changing any of the 2 or 3 mana creatures. This deck could probably cut a land or 2 as well. Full speed ahead, hyper cheesy Boros Spellslinger aggro. This is our most different deck of the entire return trip. by far. This is going to be a weird one, but it looks pretty fun. So let's call it a deck here, hop into gameplay, see how this one plays out for us. All right, here we are, unfortunately, on the draw for game number one. This is a deck that really wants to be on the play every game. Because when we get to the late game, our opponents are like guaranteed to have better. Oh, Lord have mercy. We are on the draw against turn 2 Denick, a 2/3 lifelinker that is going to be impossible to race, and racing is the only thing our deck does. This is a pretty abysmal matchup for our very first game with this deck. And then the life gaining. Oh wait, no, this one doesn't life gain when it mills. When it taps things turn over turn. Yeah, that's really bad for us. We're going to have to chump attack here because we're not drawing red sources. Luckily they didn't take the trade. I guess it's not technically a chump because we would kill the Graphkeeper, but they could recast it from grave for good value. Suspicious Stowaway, another excellent rare. We top deck another red card. Well, this draw's been really bad. We have 6 out of our 8 white sources and 0 of our 7 red. Luckily the 1/1 tokens hold off the Graphkeeper pretty well. But any trade into disturbing cards is still pretty awful. So you should bring them back as even better flyers. Another white card. We don't have attacks into the 2/3. Drop it and pass. And my internet died. Okay, can we resolve Chaplain now? Yes, we can. Cool. They draw a card, discard a card. Seven out of 8 planes. Feels about right today. I've been having these internet issues all day, so I did a draft for this one that I had to scrap because we lost 2 of our 3 losses to the internet. The internet also died. There are 2 songs playing at one side. Love you, Arena. The internet also died mid-draft, so Pack 2 pick 1 through 7 were auto-picked by Arena in the last draft I recorded. But this one I figured we'll roll with it. The internet never died during the draft. It died during the gameplay here, but it hasn't changed the outcome of anything at all. We've still made all of our plays during all of our turns. If we can fight our way through the internet nonsense, I can get you all a video out today, so hopefully that will be the case. But just to kind of let you all know, it has been a frustrating day. Ended our 6-win draft streak because we 3-3'd because we got 2 internet losses, and our deck was worse because the internet died for half the draft. It was very unfortunate. I think we need to kill this werewolf, but they've got a bunch of blue mana untapped here. Far from ideal. At least wait till their turn to make them spend their mana during their turn on the counterspell, so that we can resolve something during our turn. It has to specifically be Devious Cover Up, and they don't have it. Good stuff. Flip the switch, we'd be able to afford the 4 mana for. Organ Hoarder, the mythic common. It's very easy being blue in this set. Alright, we're gonna need to get maximum Thermo Alchemist shenanigans to have a shot here. Because the board is way too wide to break through. It's Pax Betrayal looking pretty awful in this hand. Just with how slow we've had to play things out. Morning Apparition. Tap creature. There's the 2/1 Flying Vigilance. Send in a 3/4 and a 3/2. 2/1/1s on the 3/2. 3/3. Actually, I like the 1/1s that have a ability in the grave over there, and then keep a 1/1 that doesn't have an ability in the grave over here. They could startle and win one of these combats, but not both. Yep, that's fine. Gotta get that out of their hand at some point. Still kill the Organ Hoarder. And only lose one creature to the startle. Another Sacred Fire. Cool. They're blue-white. They shouldn't have a lot of ways to exile stuff from our grave. So I'm going to do the less expensive Sacred Fire to cast the more expensive Disturb card first. Oh, and even if they did have like a Moonwing Gryff, their own Denic counters it. They can't target any of our stuff to exile it. Be playing enough creatures here to run these out. Get rid of another trick. Yep. Blue's a disgusting color. Feels like 90% of Blue's commons are just absurd cards. Startle and Shipwreck Sifters being a couple of them. Gavany Trapper. I want to get this Sunrise Cavalry down soon to get value every time we flip between night and day, but I'm going to keep the skies clear at all times. Sunrise Cavalier. Pop down some more idiots. Sure. Unblinking Observer. Unblinking Observer. Then the Departed Soulkeeper. Need to flip to nighttime to block the Sifter as well. Okay. We're not going to block the Sifter as well, but we still get our kill here. Okay, they're going to get a clue token here off of the trades. She might need a flyer bad enough to not kill one of these observers. Just to get another flyer. I'm not going to have the mana to Sacred Fire and play a flyer, though. Yeah, no, I'm going to just Sacred Fire, I think. So this is fine. Why does Danik trigger off of himself dying? That's so silly. We'll do it while they're tapped out of a flip the switch. Oh, he doesn't actually die, though, because he exiles himself, so he doesn't trigger off of himself. He doesn't have a clause on the card that says whenever another creature dies, because since he's a disturbed creature, he won't die. He'll get exiled. Alright, well, the fact that we held Velen that long is a decent sign because our draws at the start of that game were awful, and this was a super bad matchup for this deck. I mean, they led off with 2 mana, 2/3 lifelink. We didn't find a red source till our like 7th or 8th land as well. So, I mean, very predestined loss there. Still lasted a long, long time. I think that means this deck has a lot more longevity to it than I thought it did. A lot more late game potential. But clearly going to be a loss there. I think if we draw any worse than that in any future game, that would be surprising. We are 0-1 heading into game 2. This program's going to give me an aneurysm. Game 2, we immediately have to mulligan a 4 planes hand for our 8-7 split deck. And we'll keep the 6 card hand. Ditch one of the many 1-drops. Get rid of the Trapper. We don't know how much mana we're going to have here to know if we'll have expendable mana to be playing around with that. Playing against blue-green. Shipwreck Sifter sits the board. 2 mana, 2/3. Draw a card, discard a card. Seems fair and balanced for a common. Bird Admirer. We draw land 4. Send in the field for 1 mana Search Party Captain plus the Sunset Revelry. Could be bigger if they kill both our veterans. If they choose to kill Cavalier instead, I'm not super happy. But we can draw anything basically in the whole deck off of this captain. Comes the Alchemist now, pre-Sunset Revelry for extra pings. Now we can get our flyers. We can get some 1/1s as well. Jack-o'-lantern could exile the second veteran from our grave to draw a card, but then it can't exile the Revelry in response to us adversarying it. And that Wing Shredder does really stop our attacks, doesn't it? Got a Thermo Alchemist and a Dream. Unnatural growth, okay. That's fun. They're too low to attack with any of that, though. This is probably lethal this turn. Machine Gun Alchemist says hello, and we are 1-1 now, heading into game 3. Solid opening hand here for game 3. I'm pretty greedy with my adversaries. I kind of want to wait till we recast something from grave. So I want to lead Festival Crasher into Farmhand, hold up Blessed Defiance off of finding the second plains. Yeah, Crasher, then Farmhand. Second plains, Blessed Defiance on attacks here. Unblinking Observer. Ooh, I can bleed Sun Gold Sentinel instead. Might do that. Neonate's Rush Observer also would have been pretty good. Hard to resist putting the extra 3 stats out, though. Sacred Fire's the draw. Okay. Rush the Angler. Send both Exile Angler from grave. No land draw, sadly. Sentinel kills Observer. Siphon Insight, get one of our cards out of the top 2 to their hand. The other goes to the bottom. There's Falcon Abomination. Got a Sacred Fire with its name on it. Farmhand, Second Plains, and then I've got Sacred Fire. Well, never mind. Farmhand for the mana, play a Thermo Alchemist. Yeah, it feels better than going for the Blessed Defiance trade into Abomination right now. Curse of Surveillance. Whenever I draw a card, they draw a card? Okay. Three. I could just go full damage here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Put them to 5. Tempting. I don't think I'm quite gonna go for it though. Especially now when I could play a second Alchemist. Search Predicament is also really good though. And if I hit a land, I can play both. Oh my god, let's go. Let's go. Baithook Angler. And Unblinking Observer on blocks. Neonate's Rush, kill a blocker, and have a hasty bloodthirsty adversary? Yup. They block a 3/3, take 3, 4, 5, 6, and die to Alchemists. Or they just take lethal on board, they're over it, and that is 2 and 1 for Spellslinger Boros. Here we are on the play. The full Coven Sun Gold Sentinel coming up for game number 4. Lead with the creatures that actually have power, so if our opponent doesn't play a 1-mana blocker, we just get damage in. And go full steam ahead here. Playing against a green deck, that's a good matchup for Sun Gold Barrage. Should have a legal target later. Outland Liberator. Cool. Well, here's full Coven. Which means pro-green. Essentially. Death Bonnet, Sprout. Sun Gold Sentinel's pretty good against that. There's the Sacred Fire as well. So you can use Sentinel and Sacred Fire somebody. Well, let me activate it. There we go. I probably should have Sacred Fired so that I wouldn't go to nighttime. It's my bad. Opponent is stuck on 2 mana here, which is helpful too. But this way we can save Sacred Fire for any non-green creature. If they play nothing but green creatures, they can never block. And we just kill them with Sun Gold Sentinel eventually. Likely the plan. Okay. Hold up the mana to protect Sun Gold Sentinel from removal rather than tapping 1 creature. Thermo Alchemist. Okay. Thermo Alchemist might be good enough to not hold up Sun Gold Sentinel protection for. Yeah, probably so. If they have a removal spell for Sun Gold Sentinel, I will not be giving it hexproof. They do not. There's Eccentric Farmer. Still all green creatures, nothing to Sacred Fire off this board. Revelry is going to be a draw 1, which would be a Thermo Alchemist ping. It's not horrible. Game is definitely going fast enough that if I just keep Sun Gold Sentinel protected, we'll win, so I'm not going to cast anything. Just protect Sun Gold Sentinel. It's a 2-turn clock now. That can counter any removal spells by giving itself hexproof. Okay, if our opponent taps out with all green creatures, I think they're dead, because now we know we can Sacred Fire the face. Yep, that's dead. To Thermo Alchemist. There's the concession from our opponent. Gross stuff there. They were stuck on mana, and the only creatures they could play were green because we had Coven. That means Sun Gold Sentinel was just unblockable all game long. And that's 3-1 heading into game 5. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 5. We're 3-1 right now. This hand could go pretty wrong against removal. It's only got the 1 creature in it. But it could have some pretty fun Festival Crasher swing outs if we're really lucky. And there we go. Now we got a second threat. Vampire Interloper starts things off. I'm going to play... Oh my god. The options here are tremendous. I'm going to play Festival Crasher because I'm quite confident I'm just going to cast the Innate's Rush on turn 3 to kill the Interloper and draw a card, which means that'll beat in for 3 damage at the same time. And then that's also a much less threatening card if they do have removal here. We get to save our scarier threat to the Sun Gold Sentinel for later. Voldaren Stinger. They will Infernal Grasp the Crasher, so no removal for Sun Gold Sentinel. Or at least one less potential removal spell for Sun Gold Sentinel. Play the Alchemist and the Sentinel. I think I can... yeah. The board is not that scary, and I have enough time to wait to throw removal until Alchemist is no longer summoning sick. There are more cards to bring creatures back from grave than there are cards to bring instants and sorceries back from grave, so we exile the creature there. Okay, it's just an all removal spell hand. Awkward, but we're still way ahead on cards, especially once we cast a flashbacking removal spell like Sacred Fire. I will have to Moonrager slash the Vandal, sadly, because it has that menace. We're just going to clear out the board here, but we'll wait to see if they play anybody else. Okay, they're going to play somebody else. What do they got? Gisa. Okay, so I need to find 4 damage removal to kill that. That's a big problem. Sacred Fire wouldn't kill it until we have 8 mana total, so I'm not trying to hold on to that. Pax Betrayal the Gisa, that's not going to do it. Neonate's Rush is not going to do it. Might just get bombed out by Gisa here. 2 Pax Betrayal in a row is something. 2 in a row is 8 damage, but they're at 14. It's not quite enough. So we have to put some power on the board alongside the Pax Betrayals. Bloodthirsty Adversary could do it too. What are these draws? Good lord. There's the 4th removal spell now. While they have the Gisas, they draw the card off the captain. Alright, I mean, we're not going to beat that. Then, probably, we play double blocker and gain 1. But Gisa shuts off the disturb abilities. Because Gisa puts our creatures under exile, so we don't even have like a good chump with Lunarch Veteran or anything. This is an insane deck. What on earth? Go to 1 life if I don't chump here. If I do chump, they get a Lunarch Veteran. If I get to 7 mana, I could 5 mana Adversary and Slash, plus 2 mana Neonate's Rush. How on earth do I live to 7 mana without chumping? Alright. That's 6 out of 7. Have to top deck the land here. If I don't Adversary right now. What's the plan if I Adversary right now? I would have to hold a blocker up to not die. That doesn't feel right. I mean, I could Adversary Sacred Fire. It's a 3 power plus 2 damage from that. That puts them to 9. And it puts Sacred Fire back in the grave as well. But then I don't have the out of trying to Moonrager Slash anymore. But it's a more consistent play. I don't need exactly a land on top to try to get somewhere with that as a line. Okay, it doesn't actually put Sacred Fire back in grave. I thought it would. So I can cast it from exile, but it's like if you cast it from exile, you would think theoretically it goes back in the grave. Sungold Barrage is huge. Sungold Barrage Neonates Rush. Put it back to our grave because there's no geese anymore. Have a blocker up. Double Pax Betrayal to win it. Let's get out of reach of Moonrager's Slash. Betray the zombie. Straws were so lucky. Oh my god. That was just a super lucky game of Magic. Their deck was really, really good. Gisa with just a massive stack of removal is absolutely a game plan. But so is cheesing out a bunch of damage directly to face with all these random burn spells. That is 4-1 now, heading into game 6. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 6 with our mono white opening hand. Pretty fun. First draw of the game's a mountain, which is a great one, but we don't even have red spells to play with it, regardless. So I'm not complaining about the opener, it's just funny to look at. Definitely needs to find some more action, some more power. Playing against mono blue triple island, all mono-colored all around here. I've drawn exclusively lands so far, which is pretty bad, especially the Sunset Revelry looking awful. Because I can't dump my hand fast enough to actually draw the card off of this, which we really want to do. Playing against blue-red, take 2, go back to 20. Search Party Captain's a great draw. They're pretty likely to do something to us off this attack. Maybe that Flash Flyer that'll eat the farmhand, but they're not going to. They could have, what, they're holding up a counter then? Devious Cover-Up or No Way Out? If it's No Way Out, we can wait a turn to play around it. If it's Devious Cover-Up, it gets us no matter what anyway. Sure, I'll pass. Electric Revelation, just draw some cards. They have any Neonates Rush in there, which they probably do since they're red. That's pretty good against us. We can have Full Coven playing a Trapper and a Search Party Captain. That's pretty cool. Play Plains pre-combat, attack all, go 1 mana Search Party Captain. With the 4 mana up for No Way Out. If they cast No Way Out, we pay the 4. And if they don't, we flip the farmhand now. So we actually have Covenant without the Trapper at this point. A lot of lands. Yeah, I could just flip the farmhand here. I don't even need to run Trapper into potential No Way Out. We have so much mana here, we could play around it all day long. Spell Rune Painter, little prowess blocker. It's gonna hold our damage off for sure. Run out our Gavany Trapper and pass. Funny enough, maybe a beneficial matchup to be this flooded. Any no-wait outs that they draw are almost useless at this point. We definitely don't want to get attacked back by the Howler, but we're at 24, so we could afford it. I'm going to hold off one more turn. That way I can tap before their attacks each turn instead. So we can get in the habit of tapping at the perfect time to stop them from attacking or blocking instead of just from blocking. Geist Flame Reservoir. Every time they cast an instant or sorcery, they charge it up and then they get to start shredding our board with it. That's pretty terrifying. I weirdly might tap the Falcon Abomination here because I could try to beat them down with their own Howler with Pax Betrayal for fun. And it's a wolf or werewolf, so also scry too. Yeah, we're actually going to Pax Betrayal their blocker next turn. If I wait even longer, I get a Festival Crasher too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. 9, 10, 11 right now, though. I don't feel like that's necessary to wait. Scry 2 lands to the bottom. Good work from Pax Betrayal. Startle a Cathar, get a counter on Reservoir. So they're down to 5, tapped out of a counter. We can play the Crasher and then again Trapper a blocker. We pass back. Sunset Revelry's been absolutely awful this game. It's been super mid the entire draft. I really wish we took the Clarion Cathars over it, just the 4-mana 3/3 and 1/1. I mean, we might even just swap the... go back to deck building, because we had other cards that were playable. We could cut this Revelry for something else. Because it's been so consistently mid. Ardent Elementalist, that's very good here. They don't have a removal spell in their grave yet, so not super great, actually. No burn spells in grave is huge, but still lets them get the Reservoir up to burn spell status. Do 2 damage now. So they could startle, reduce the damage that we're dealing to them, and then also shoot something for 2 at this point. They're just going to main phase startle, though, to draw a card here. Shoot the Gavany Trapper. Yeah, that does make sense. Concession from our opponent? Did Mathis for blockers, were they dead on board? They must have been. So we tap that in response. They kill Trapper. They have 2 creatures that can actually block. If they block a 3/3 and a 2/2, take 1, 2, 3, 4. Dead to any instant or sorcery. Because they can block these 2 still. That's 4 damage on board. So yeah, they were dead. We just cast Sunset Revelry and killed them. Alright, well. Weird game. We didn't even know if they had an way out by the end of that game. So we might have been playing around nothing. But when you got that much mana, all of the land draws early, it was pretty easy to play around. So 5-1 it is, I guess, heading into game number 7. Here we are for game 7, a Thermo Alchemist ping game to start us off. We'll keep this on the draw. Playing against a blue deck, we'll lead with our turn 1 Chaplain of Alms. Playing against blue-red, Thermo Alchemist Warfare, let's go. Suspicious Stowaway. Much as I would love to get extra pings off of Festival Crasher, Thermo Alchemist, that is a card that is best to kill as quickly as possible to stop it from drawing and discarding every turn, giving your opponent value. So we Sacred Fire away the Stowaway. And they play an Overwhelmed Archivist. Play Alchemist or play Crasher. I do have a Pax Betrayal coming up, which would be a lot of Crasher damage, but I don't know that I'm going to want to play it that quick, so I'm going to go Alchemist first. If I play one and then the other, then it's better to play Alchemist first, because Alchemist will hit for at least one the turn after this, whereas Crasher could just get blocked if I'm just playing another creature. Take the 3, go to 19, and they just pass through. Dang. Drew another red creature, but I only have one mountain, so I can't play both. Fine. Get our 1 damage in with Chaplain. Have Festival Crasher, maybe draw a removal spell. Not a removal spell, but a counter spell here. We don't have a million lands this game, so we don't know that we're going to be able to play around No Way Out. We just have them eat our less significant creatures if we can, so that cards like Bloodthirsty Adversary resolve. Devious Cover-Up, yep. No matter how much mana we have up, that's going to counter something at some point, so we're pretty happy to have it not counter the adversary. Take 3. Go to 16. Storm Skrillex, there's our Sun Gold Barrage target. And then adversary can recast Barrage should we find another mountain. I was thinking about Pax Betrayal here, but I think that's worth it yet. They're still really high on life. We're trying to do something like that. We do have the discard 1, draw 2 spell, so might hold on to this land here. I'm working my way towards 6 mana though. Yeah, we can't hold on to lands until we have 6 on board for Sacred Fire. Playing the land now makes any land off the top Sacred Fire mana for the Archivist, for the front half of it. Although I probably wouldn't even want to kill it, because I don't want it to turn into the flyer. We're racing. We're slightly losing the race, but the Pax Betrayal can flip that around, as can the adversary. Nothing to recast with adversary, because I don't really want to recast Sacred Fire with adversary when I can already flashback it. I might Pax Betrayal here, just for more adversary options when I play it. This is also a much less significant card if they want to counter it. Geist Wave, put it back in their hand, essentially counter it. Yeah, that's pretty chill with me. Now we have them recast their creature and don't hit us for a turn. So that put us in a winning race now. They have the better card advantage for sure. Draw a card off Geist Wave, plus draw and discard off recasting that. But our deck's a lot more about the racing than the card advantage anyway. Famished Foragers, get the 4/3 down. Sadly not big enough to kill the Sun Gold Barrage. It's another Pax Betrayal for us. Yeah, it's still quite reasonable. Put them to 6. Do not want to discard a card, draw a card. So Bloodthirsty Adversary recast a Pax Betrayal kill is the plan. If they don't have a counterspell, that will kill them. Even if they have a counterspell, I can pay the 4 here. If it's not specifically Devious Cover-Up. Startle that, so that doesn't deal damage, but Foragers still kills them. That was a punt. If they don't have removal for their Foragers. Because they could have startled their Foragers to not die here. Yeah, okay. They punted out of it. They would have won if they held on to the second startle. Because, well, I guess maybe not, because Thermo Alchemist ping still. We have one more Alchemist ping. No, they would have won. They would have won. We would have gotten the Foragers onto our board from Pax Betrayal, attacked with it with an untapped Alchemist. They startle the Foragers, take 2 damage from Foragers and 1 more from Alchemist. They'd be at 1 life with counterattack lethal thanks to the number of creatures they have. Well, I guess not quite. No, we could still win. We were still potentially winning, but they probably were favored if they startled their Foragers. So we borrow Foragers, they startle it. It hits for 2. Alchemist can hit for 1 more, but because it wouldn't be lethal anymore, I would decide not to do it. And then I'd have 2 blockers up. So I could go block, block, take 4, go to 2 life. Right, so we're just dead if they hit removal, or we're dead if they can ping us for another 2 with a Lightning Bolt, a Moon Raider Slash, or anything like that. We're actually not dead on board if they startle the Foragers, but again, still definitely a lucky turn of events for us. Luckily that they did punt that out, because they absolutely could have had another draw step and another combat trying to crack back for lethal. Wow. All right. Boros Spellslinger takes us all the way to the final battle. That is every single flashback draft of the set, except for the draft that shall not be named, that didn't turn into a video because my internet died mid-draft and then died and lost 2 games because we couldn't reconnect in time. So outside of the 1 draft I lost to timeout losses, every single draft of the Innistrad Midnight Hunt flashback has gone to the final battles. Pretty sweet stuff, because now at this point, we have played some pretty unique decks as well. It's not just like spamming blue-black, which is the best thing to do in this format. That can easily get you some 7-win runs, but we got a 6-winner with green-black, and now we got a 6-winner with Boros Spellslinger. Crazy, crazy stuff today. Here we are for the final boss, what could be the final battle of this entire draft. We have 2 shots at it if we lose this game, but if we win it, we're done. We did it. And this is a great opening hand. We're looking to find some instant sorceries for Bloodthirsty Adversary, but we're a 9 instant sorcery deck. So that should be easy enough. And we have plenty of other cheap cards to play before the adversary, so we can save that for our 5-drop. Mono green so far from our opponent. They lead with Timberland Guide to slow us down, and that is certainly going to do so. Even if I play Sun Gold Sentinel, I don't want to trade that off either. I don't want to play Gavany Trapper. I guess I'm playing Festival Crasher, which is awkward. At least it blocks the guide. I'm going to play these 2 together next turn. I could play the Trapper by itself. That way, whenever we play Sun Gold Sentinel, we have the 4 mana to play the Sentinel and protect it from removal all in 1 turn. Green and white don't have any cards that trigger if they hit us this turn, so we're not trying to stop any vampire triggers or anything. This is likely some kind of combat trick. Okay, Sacred Fire is the draw. Yeah, I like that draw a lot because now we have a good reason to hold up this 2 mana and not Not play the Sun Gold Sentinel. I don't even mind just Sacred Fire and Guide for an extra 2 to face too. And then I've got an instant or sorcery in my grave for Bloodthirsty Adversary. Turn 5, just recast that. That way I get a 3/3 haste down and the flashback all in one turn. Obviously not the best deal ever, as we said before. Might be better than hitting nothing with Adversary. Homestead Courage, that's very good. With you join the dance to make sure they have plenty of stats over there. Death Bonnet Sprout, that'll be our next Sacred Fire targets. But the Sun Gold Sentinel just shutting off there. Flashback cards is a little better initially. Then shutting off the Sprout. So we exiled the Join the Dance, because them getting 2 more 1/1s is slightly more impactful than 1 more +1/+1 counter. At this point, we're not going to have a crazy Festival Crasher turn ever, so if they want to spend their combat trick to kill Festival Crasher now, that's fine. And they don't. Sereth, the Viper's Fang. Untapped creatures you control have hexproof. Tapped creatures have Death Touch. That's pretty bad for me. Yikes. Yeah, and we can't kill that. Another Sacred Fire. Okay. I probably should have tapped Sprout so I could Sacred Fire the Sprout here. Well, it's a 1/1. It's a 1/1 with no abilities if I keep attacking with Sun Gold Sentinel. So we're actually fine. To play it how I was thinking I was going to play it, which was get the unblockable Sun Gold Sentinel attack. Oh, it milled Sigarda, Champion of Light. Thank you, Death Bonnet Sprout. Very cool. Don't want to tap here because I want to kill the Seraph. Okay, they're not going to put Seraph at risk. Fair. I can get a free kill on Death Bonnet Sprout without even spending a card. So we'll eat that up with First Strike. And if they try to make it in their favor, then we can spend a card with Sacred Fire. Although Seraph can untap the thing to give its hexproof again. So if they have a trick, it will work. Because they could respond to us trying to Sacred Fire the Sprout by untapping it for hexproof to counter that. But if they spend a combat trick to kill our Disturb card, that's also just fine value already. Okay. Yep, they got it. Because if I try to Sacred Fire it, they untap it. Oh, they don't draw the card because that's 2 3s and 2s. That's only 2 different powers on board. That's very funny. This also means I can't Sacred Fire one of their other tokens as long as they have 1 mana untapped with Seraph on board. So probably just shoot in the face now. Well, I could tap Seraph down and then shoot face. If I tap Seraph down, they untap somebody else and have one blocker up. With more lifelinking Sacred Fires, I think we should be able to outrace here. It's a Blessed Defiance 2. Cool. I'm not going Protection from White with Sun Gold, am I? I can go Protection from White and still Sacred Fire and Blessed Defiance. Alright, sure. Two spells for Festival Crasher if they don't block it. A bajillion life gain to outrace them. They do block. I'm going to Bless Defiance over Sacred Fire so that I have the 2 mana untapped to protect Sun Gold Sentinel if they draw removal. They have their own Blessed Defiance so that it's a trade here and they gain some life. The Hexproof from Seraph has been rough. Yeah, the Hexproof has been the nastiest part by far. Yeah, you got it. If I Sacred Fire their other white creature, then I'm guaranteed the unblockable swings with Sentinel. I just keep choosing unblockable from white. We have to play Adversary first, though, to get Coven again, since they killed one of our creatures. I guess if we top deck a land, that'd be ideal, because then we play Chaplain to get Coven. Or what am I talking about? I can attack the Sun Gold Sentinel, pro green, and that's all I have to do. I don't even have to Gavany Trapper anymore if I keep them down to just a single 1/1 white creature. Pax Betrayal is interesting. Not necessary right now. I really would have preferred mana for now, but we can Bloodthirsty Adversary, a Blessed Defiance, and just gain a bunch of life. It works too. Either of these is a deal 2, gain 2, essentially. But this is now a gain 2, deal 5 instead. Plus we get to keep the Sacred Fires for if we hit another land, which is pretty huge, because just casting 2 more Sacred Fires will kill them. They're at 4 life, so 2 damage per ping. Can probably lethal them now off Sacred, or off Pax Betrayal. Steal that. 2 blockers up. They block 2 of our 3s, we hit for 3. Yeah, it's not lethal. Let's just start Sacred Firing the face, since we can't lethal them in 1 hit anyway. I mean, just 2 Sacred Fires is game. Dryad's Revival's not going to do much. Oh, it can return Blessed Defiance from grave, actually. That is actually such a draw. Keep them away from Sacred Fire dead. They pick Might of the Old Ways, though. Could have went for the gain 5 attack here to live another turn. But I suppose they didn't realize that, or they don't care. There's the concession from our opponent. They see the second Sacred Fire engraved. They see the lining on the wall, and that is another trophy run in Innistrad Midnight Hunt, this time with Boros Spellslinger. Really weird deck, really wild deck, quite different from the majority of what we've been playing so far. I mean, every other deck we've drafted has been a black deck, and here, some Boros stuff. Our first red deck, our first non-black deck. our first really quick low to the ground deck, our first kind of aggro deck, but it was still winning those long games, being able to Sacred Fire to face, Moonrager Slash to face, and Pax Betrayal for extra damage. I will say we ran very hot today. We got very, very, very lucky. Outside of the very first game, starting off 0-1 there, into the 7-win streak, really showed how the luck kind of completely changed around. Because that first game, as we said during it, we were going to be highly unlikely to draw worse than that. But not only did we not draw worse than we did in our first game, we drew absolutely exceptionally for the rest of the draft here. But our one loss, of course, being super, super rough draws there. We had 7 of the 8 planes with no, like before we saw the first mountain, I believe. At least 6 of them. 6 planes before the first mountain. And it was a bad matchup in the first place, a blue-white deck with all those disturb cards. So it's really hard for an aggro deck to fight through all of those creatures. Plus, they started with the rare life-linking one to be really up in life early. So that was a rough matchup. And that was the only loss of the day, which is pretty exceptional. Yeah, we said it during the draft. I was highly confident that red and white were the most open colors in this draft pod, and that was exceptionally true. Red and white were the most open colors in the draft pod. The one thing that I had qualms about is I don't like this color pair very much. I feel like these kind of decks can easily get blanked by decks like Blue-White Disturb that have a bunch of good 2-for-1 value where they're trading off and stopping your attackers and then getting more creatures to really stabilize quite well. So I felt like these decks are not super well positioned in this format, but we still got into really good matchups today. We got some very lucky hands that could cheese out a good chunk of damage with Thermo Alchemists and Festival Crashers. And yeah, just got really lucky with it. Got some good matchups. For the biggest over and underperformers, biggest underperformer, easily Sunset Revelry. I should not have drafted this card, and I should not have played it. That was very inconsistent today. I think just running a 1-of Silversmith would have played better than the Revelry, even if it is one less instant or sorcery in the deck. I'm not going to play a 3 with Exorcism just to get more Alchemist triggers, but I'd certainly run a Silversmith and just play less Thermo Alchemist and Festival Crasher, fun stuff. Things that we could have done differently during the draft, stuff that that overperformed, that I may have underrated, would be the Thermo Alchemist Festival Crasher stuff. These cards, I kind of treat them generally as blue, red, gold cards. The kind of cards I would really generally only play in blue, red spells before today's draft. But they were great. We still found plenty of spells here in Boros, plenty of instants and sorceries for them, that these still got a lot of damage, in particular the Thermo Alchemists. We did pass up on one Thermo Alchemist at some point that didn't wheel. So if I had to do it again, if I were drafting this pod with the knowledge that I've gained today, we would probably be on a triple Thermo Alchemist deck, and we would have taken more decent instants and sorceries more highly, so that I could be playing like another good instant or sorcery over like the 4-drop Silversmith here or something. And then I have another decent instant or sorcery instead of the Sunset Revelry. That card was just bad in here. But other than that, it wouldn't have to change too much about this deck for it to be exceptional. Like, it's hard to be unhappy with a 7-win run, but I think if we were on like triple Alchemist, double Crasher, 1 or 2 more good instants or sorceries instead of this Silversmith, we could have had a nigh unbeatable deck here. This was a very, very good run, very good luck, running hot the whole time, and that's going to get us yet another trophy in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.